So when I was in high school, I learned this super awesome Greek word. Prepare to be impressed. It's pneuma, spelled P-N. I honestly don't even remember how to spell it, but I do remember that word means spirit. Like, it's where we get the Greek words in the New Testament text for Holy Spirit. That's pneuma. But it's also the word for breath or wind, depending on how it's used. And that sort of understanding followed me to college. When I was about 20, I was praying. I had kind of this big career juncture, and I was pouring my heart out to God and asking for some direction, and I never got the direction, which is super frustrating. But what I did get was more valuable. Like, as that wind moved my body, with it came the awareness that God was incredibly present and that He would guide and take me as I went. It's interesting. The more you look into this idea of pneuma or wind, the more it shows up, like in the lives of people who have been interacting with God over centuries, really. You know, the first followers of Jesus, when the Holy Spirit first comes to live in their hearts, to be God's personal presence with them, they're praying and worshiping in this room, and it's filled with this noise. They said it sounded like, you guessed it, wind, right? When the Israelites are coming out of slavery and they're wandering through the desert, they're guided at night by a pillar of fire and by day a pillar of clouds and wind. Even at the very beginning, the creation story in Genesis, it talks about how God made these humans, these beings in His own image, out of the dust, and then He filled them with His wind, His breath, His life. It's pretty clear to me that you cannot separate the idea of God and the idea of wind. You know, we're welcome to Trinity Sessions, episode 11. I'm Wes, and today we're talking about meditation. We're talking about specifically some of the things that get in the way of meditation. A lot of us, I think, when we think of meditation, we think of Eastern meditation or Buddhist meditation, which I'm not knocking directly. I have no problem with that. But I think a lot of us, that's our main idea. In reality, Christian meditation is very different. One of the ways in which Christian meditation is different is the idea of attachment, right? So in Eastern or Buddhist meditation, the whole goal is to detach from your world, from pain, from stimulus, so that you can become enlightened. The thought being that if you are attached to this world, that's where pain and suffering and all of these things rise, is your attachment to the world. While part of Christian meditation is the process of detachment, and we've practiced that a little bit over the last couple of weeks with the receive and release practice. It is also about attachment. It's about detachment from your life, your thoughts, your beliefs, attachment from spirituality guided by you, and reattachment to Jesus, right? Detachment from you, from the world, from all of the things that hold you back, and attachment to Jesus, to His teaching, His way of thinking, the ways He acts in the world, and how you can participate with Him. See, meditation is a lot more about attachment for us than detachment. Here's what I mean. When you meditate, for example, it's good to be emptied of what you bring to the table. But if that doesn't produce any sort of deeper connection with Jesus, then for us as followers of Jesus, it's kind of a useless practice. But I bet you would be surprised that if you were to try this attachment thing, that you might find a deeper connection with Jesus. You might find that, like in that moment when I was praying in college, that a wind meets you, that a deeper level of insight comes, that when you make space, when you detach from everything that's going on in your life and you make an empty space for Jesus, He will come and be faithful to fill it. So today's Trinity practice is very simple. We want you to take 30 minutes, and to go be outside and to interact with one of the four natural elements: earth, wind, fire, or water. Earth, wind, fire, water. Pick one. And sit with it for 30 minutes. Maybe it's at a fire pit at your house tonight, or it is just like me, out in the wind. Or maybe perhaps you're going to take a hike and sit on some rocks and get grounded by the earth, or there's a stream that you know that you're going to spend some time with. And during that 30 minutes, write down any ways that you find that element giving you a deeper understanding of God and who he is. For example, one day I used to live in Florida, and there was water everywhere, and I was sitting by this giant river, and I realized just the continuity of the river was unstoppable. And that was kind of like God. He is patient. He is continuous. I hope that today and every day that you practice these Trinity groups through this video, through discussion, and through your Trinity practice brings you a life that is just 1% closer to Jesus. Have a great day.